Hi, everybody. Oh, I had a panic then. It was saying live streaming is not available, but here I am. So hopefully I'll be here for the next 45-ish minutes. This is week 4 of the singing and songwriting session. Before I begin, as always, I have to read a disclaimer to you. So if you're under 18, please tell your parents that you're doing this session. Feel free to ask any questions and make comments, but stay safe online by only using your first name. Do not give out any of your contact details, and I hope you enjoy today's session. So, following on from last week, we were writing ranty songs or songs with lots and lots of lyrics squeezed in a very tight space. So before we move on to that, as always, I always do a little bit of music theory with you. So we've been working, if you go back through the past videos, if this is the first time you've seen the stream, you'll see that I started off sort of just working with the, helps if I turn it on, the C major scale. Okay, so we've done chords relative to that C major scale. I'm not going to backtrack too much. If you go back and see the videos, you can catch up that way. That's a C chord. If we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's C, D, E, F, G, A. We've not done A minor yet, but that would be the A minor chord, which you can also play down here, because if that's a C, B, A. Okay. So far, we've got a C. We did D minor, E minor, F, G, and A. Okay. I'm also going to show you how to do that on the ukulele. So let's move this out of the way. On the ukulele, we've got the strings are G, C, E, A. If on that G string, you just press the 2nd fret like that, that's an A minor. It's that simple. Okay. Now, many things. I've got lots of things about today because I'm going to do a bit of a fun session, just looking at other ways of making a track to sing to without using an instrument, maybe just using your voice and things you find around the house. Before we move on to that, the last session, as I said, was about writing a sort of almost like a rap type song. I gave you a few examples. If you go back to the previous video, those are in there. Just songs where there's a lot of words rambling on, kind of like I'm doing now. And so last week I sort of started off with, again, you can't really see on this camera, but I just scribbled down all kinds of words. The idea was to just sort of start off with a little starting point. For me, it was the idea of imposter syndrome and self-doubt. And I just started to write words because at the time when I was starting to write it, that's probably what I was feeling. You know, well, it was. I was feeling that sort of self-doubt. Oh, where do I go here? What am I going to do now? Can I do any of this? And so I started to write out these lyrics. So again, just I don't want to go on and on and on. I'll just read roughly what I've written. So I know I've been writing for a really long time, and I'm not saying it's good or bad. I don't claim to be a font of knowledge. I've played guitar most of my life. I play the sax. I break my back to do my best. I just can't wrestle it right. I try and keep my head above the waterline, trying to hang on to sunshine, don't want a cloud above my head. It's easier said than done. We struggle on. We do what we do. Apprehension, tension, intention. Focus on intention. Share the knowledge. Do what I do. Don't go out. Don't stop. Don't do anything. There's nothing to know. Hey, they, blah, blah, blah. But it goes on like that. It's just a lot of words. And then there was also self-conscious, awkward, take your face off, prepare to hide, because sometimes it's a bumpy ride. I'm kind of shy, but I'm a great pretender. I hate attention. I put myself in the firing line because I love to write and make it do. I've got a case full of faces. I can use them. I can clip them on. I can go through the day. I paint them up. I have my say. I have my cake. I have my pride. I won't let you know I'm crumbling inside. I'm opening up. I'm trying to bear, blah, blah, blah. It goes on and on and on. And the idea is, it's sort of just it's just a way of like, what am I trying to say? If you sit down and you get your pen, you just want to write a stream of consciousness. So it's not going to have any particular form. It's just about getting yourself writing. So what I then went on to do this week, I've started to, as I mentioned at the end of the last session, I started to underline the little bits I liked, to focus in on anything that I thought could actually start to work, to come together into a verse. And then eventually I came up with something that was a bit more orderly. I've even typed it up. This is my song, which I call Who Are You? And it's like 3 very intense verses, and there's a really simple chorus. I introduced you to the A minor chord a minute ago, which on my guitar, I've not shown it on the guitar yet. So if you remember, I was counting strings. The thin, high sounding one is string 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the gaps, as I said, same as ukulele, these are called frets. To play an A minor, it's almost like the C chord, which I've shown you, except one finger changes. So you're going to put finger number 1 on string number 2, and that goes on the first fret. And then second finger, just like with a C chord, goes on string number 4 on the next fret. But then your third finger tucks in behind the second finger, again on the second fret. I think I might have just said third fret. So these 2 fingers are on the second fret, that finger's on the first fret. It should look like that. And you strum it from string number 5, which is your A string. So that's an A minor. Now, again, not wanting to get too complicated, because this is just a general kind of basic all-around crash course to give you some ideas to get writing. I won't go into the theory right now, but if I take off that third finger and just have the 2 fingers, that becomes an A minor 7 chord. And I like minor 7s, because they have a slightly warmer sound. So if I play a normal A minor, sorry, not A, it's an A minor. If I take that finger off, you might just hear that change. So I'm bringing up the A minor because the 2 chords that I started to try and fit this song to were A minor, or A minor 7, and E minor, which of course is the 3rd chord in the C major scale. So I've used chord 3. You can do straight E minor, or you can take that finger off, make it into a minor 7. And if you put that little finger on, it's still a minor 7. It just has a different sort of sound. I quite like playing E minor 7 like that. Anyway, so I just started to mess around with the E minor 7 to the A minor 7. Just those 2 chords. So again, it's just turned into a simple little 2 chord song. And then I took the words. So I'm going to read out the first verse. So it was, I've been doing this a really long time with my voice and guitar, break a string, break my back to do my best, no rest till it's right, till it's good, until there's blood from the cuts on my fingertips and water in my sore eyes. I can't sleep, my head is dizzy and I'm busy in the zone, working fingers to the bone, working bone into dust, working dust into glue, sticking letters into words, gluing words into sentences and verses. So that's my first verse. Another really good point that I'd like to make here as well is that one thing that I've never written a song that was this intensely squished in. I don't normally write like this, which is why I thought it might be quite nice to do that. Breathe. Always leave somewhere in there a little breathing gap. So when I got to the end of Sore Eyes, when I was first trying to sort of put this into order, I was like going purple, turning blue, running out of breath. So make sure you leave breathing space. So when I get to Sore Eyes, there's a little gap and then it picks up again. I don't really know how to tell you how to write phrasing and rhythm, because I think the best advice I can give is to you've just got to mess around with it. You've just got to keep going until it feels right. And that's all I've done. I took some words, I started to pull out the bits I liked. I just kept sort of just tapping a beat. And really with this project, just kind of focusing more on the rhythm of the words than the melody. But then I did start to bring a little melody. So I sort of started messing around with la, 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 just 3 notes. So it started to sound like this. I've been doing this a really long time, with my voice and guitar, break a string, break my back to do my best. No rest till it's right, till it's good, till there's blood from the cuts on my fingertips and water in my sore eyes. I can't sleep, my head is dizzy and I'm busy in the zone, working fingers to the bone, working bone into dust, working dust into glue, sticking letters into words, gluing words into sentences and verses. So it was sort of like that. I've sat for about 20 minutes just trying to make that first verse work. And then I sort of came up with this really simple chorus. And it's just 2 lines and it goes like this. Who do you think you are? What do you think you know? Who do you think you are? And then last night I just started messing with just a cheeky little kind of chord rundown which does this. Now, hold on a minute. Just to kind of break it up a little bit so it isn't just straight 2 chord song. So what happens with that rundown, it was just, I'm playing bar chords now, but that's a G chord, down to a F sharp, to an F, to an E minor again. So it's just like 4 chords that link from the A down to the E minor chromatically. I mentioned chromatically because I'm about to post, after I finish this live session, I've done another singing video and it's actually singing some simple 5-note chromatic scales, which is... So chromatic just means you're literally moving from one space to the next. There are 12 notes in Western music, and when you're playing every single one of those notes, that's basically what chromatic means. If anyone's out there and can explain it better than I do, please feel free to comment. Anyway, so this is a song. So then I've got the next verse, which is, I've got a case full of faces, I use them every day, I put them on and paint them up, I wear them on my way, because I find ways of coping and we try to stay afloat, but we fall sometimes and we all have pride, and it's hard to open up when you're crumbling inside. So we build up the walls to keep out the trolls and the monsters and the illness and the threatening black holes. It's going out there because it needs to be shared. I don't want to hide, I don't want to be scared. If you catch something good from the parcels that I throw, then I'm doing something right, and it's all worth the fight. So at that point I was trying to bring that in as well, and say I'm still working on it. Think you are, what do you think you know? Who do you think you are? What do you think you know? So then I've got one more verse. And this was the one that I was really struggling with, actually. I push a wheelbarrow from the shed in my head, I fill it up to the top, I roll it over to bed, I throw away a steaming pile of self-doubt, throw the beady-eyed imposter into the composter. Lay it on, moving on, I plant the seeds and I hope it's gone, cause the shoots are coming up and the words are in bloom, and they're looking for a dream to wrap around, entwine with their lyrical vines. If you chop them they will grow, cause I can't stop the flow and the power and the push from the rushing. See, this is the breathing part. From the rushing and the gushing in my head, of the letters and the words and the pictures turned on. Bright bulbs in my skull, the light is shooting from my eye. 2 a.m. I need to sleep, no chance, not a peep until I'm done. Cause that's how it's done now. Who do you think you are? And and so on and so forth. So that's how I've been working it, you know, just working around. Sorry, I keep looking down there and the camera's up there and it's all very confusing. Anyway, so that's a song. It's based around E minor 7, E minor, A minor, just to keep it simple. And then there's that little rundown in there. But what I've also been doing, what I wanted to cover this week, is different ways of approaching music performance and recording. There's a piece of kit that I use. I've had it for a really long time, but I only actually got the courage up to use it at my live gigs last year, and it's a looping pedal. And what I've done before I go on to demonstrate, like this is sort of the fun bit now. Before I go into the demonstration, I just wanted to let you know that I've recorded one of my sort of extras videos this week, just actually showing you, because I'm recording on a laptop, it's not easy for me to show you what's on the floor down here. But I have a little bit of kit called the looping pedal. All of this, as I say, it's covered on the additional video that I've done. So I've got a microphone, I've got my looping pedal. My looping pedal is plugged into a little amp. And then the microphone is plugged into the looping pedal. I can plug my guitar in. I'm not going to use that right now. I just briefly demonstrated it on the video that, as I say, I'll be posting after this session. So the idea is I want to build up a track, just a loop of sound that I can sing to. And so I'm going to attempt to do that now. So my words at hand. Let's turn this on.
Hello, 1, 2. Oh, can you hear me? There we go.
So what's going to happen is I'm going to stomp on this thing. I'm going to stomp. I'm going to work with the offbeat because I find that helps to keep it in time. Because one thing with looping pedals, if any of you out there have used them, it can be really hard sometimes, tricky to get it to be a really perfect loop. So what I do is count, I stomp on the 1 and then I start clapping on the and, which is the offbeat. So 1 and, like that. Okay, so the idea is as well this week is that I wanted to just encourage you to just go and find things around the house to make sound out of. You can record it on your phone. Before I begin, I've also been looking, again, I can't go into it really, I haven't got the time today, but on my phone I just started to, out of curiosity, I'm sure a lot of you younger people out there know way more about this than I do, but I found something called Walkband. There are lots of different multi-tracking apps that you can get on your phone, and they're free. There's another one called BandLab, although it was asking me to sign up and stuff, so I didn't bother using that. Maybe you use that. There was all kinds of different ones that, again, I'd recommend you download them off Google Play Store so you know that they're not dodgy apps. But I downloaded one called Walkband. I tried 3 out this week, and that was the one that worked best for me. And it's just a little app where you can literally go and look through, find a drum beat, it's a nice way of writing if you don't play an instrument. So if I just go into this multi-track synth, so I just used an existing drum loop that was there. I pasted it in on a track. I don't know if you can see. I'm going to go like this. So I put in a bass line as well, and then I recorded 2 vocals. This is all I've done, but this was the piece of software that I personally just got on with quite well out of the ones I tried. So go there to the microphone. So that's just a simple thing, but you could start to write to that. So what I'd say is, if you go on YouTube, you'll find loads of tutorials for anything to do with that. Just find if you search multi-track app for phone, I don't know if you can probably use GarageBand on your phone, which is another app that a lot of you are probably aware of. I've never used GarageBand, but know a lot of people do. Anyway, getting back to the looping pedal. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start just building up a beat. I'm going to use this little, it's like a toy. Ooh, castanet, I think it's called. Castanetter. So, like that. So I'm going to go 1, That's a bit fast, actually. I'm going to start that again. It's worked. So, you should hear that tapping coming out of my amp now. So I started to just look around and find things I could use. If I want to overdub, if I want to record over that, hit the pedal again and it'll start recording. And then if you're going to talk in between like I am, you've got to make sure you stop it or it'll literally just record all of the sound in the room and you end up with this cacophony of sound. So I've got, it's just an old pot jar thing that I keep pens in. And this is just an old tin whistle. I'm just going to use that to make another beat sound. So don't know if you can hear that. Just checking. Okay. So I'm going to record again, press it on. Turn it off. So they're just some little teeny chimes that I've had knocking around. I've got a box full of all random bits and bobs. I sometimes use it in workshops, just bits of percussion. But you can use anything you can find. This is an old Cornish scrumpy bottle full of 5 pences. Might be able to use that. See if it's worked. Okay. And then I'm going to use a little shakeable egg. You could use a yogurt pot with rice in, play school way, whatever you can find. So, okay, so I'm going to record that. If you ever do anything and you don't like it, the last thing you recorded, if you put your foot on, you can clear it off. So I've taken that shaker off now. I could only do it that time. You can get much more complicated looping pedals, or you can do all kinds of stuff. Mine's quite a simple one. Okay, so I'm going to try some shaker again, but less of it this time. Try that again. Okay, so as I say, I'm just messing around. You could do this for hours and trying to work out something you like, but it's just a basic beat. So the next thing I want to do, I'll turn this up a little bit. So my 2 chords of this song are, as I said, E minor 7 and A minor 7. So I'm going to sort of build up a kind of little vocal sort of backing track, something very simple that I can sing to. So I'm going to do that now. then this is where I try and just sort of fit the words in. I've been doing this a really long time with my voice and guitar and percussion. Bring my back to do my best, no rest till it's right, till it's good, till it's slipped from the cuts on my fingertips and water in my sore eyes. I can't sleep, my head is dizzy and I'm busy in the zone, working fingers to the bone, working bone into dust, working dust into glue, sticking letters into words, gluing words and sentences and verses. Who do you think you are? What do you think you know? Who do you think you are? I've got a case full of faces, I can use them every day. I clip them on and pin them up and wear them on my way. Cause we find ways of coping and we try to stay afloat, but we fall sometimes and we all have pride. And it's hard to have it up when you're crumbling inside. So we build up the walls to keep back the trolls and the monsters and the illness and the threatening black holes. It's going out there cause it needs to be shared. I don't want to hide away, I don't want to be scared. So if you catch something good from the puzzles that I throw, then I'm doing something right and it's all worth the fight. Who do you think you are? What do you think you know? Who do you think you are? So another thing I could do here, I could do my own verse. I could do the chorus, I can also layer that up. So I'm going to show you that now. Who do you think you are? What do you think you know? Who do you think you are? What do you think you know? Who do you think you are? What do you think you know? Push a wheelbarrow from the shed in my head. I fill it up to the top, I roll it over to be that. Throw away a stick and pile it up. Throw the beanie and imposter into the composter. Let I'm moving on, I plant the seeds and hope it's gone. Cause the shoots are coming up and the words are in bloom, and they're looking for a tree to wrap around and twine with our lyrical lines. If you chop them, they will grow. Because I can't stop the flow and the power and the push from the rushing and the cushion in my head. What do you think? All the letters and the words and the pictures turned on. Bright bulbs in my skull, the light is shooting from my eyes. 2 a.m. I need to sleep, no chance, not a peep until I'm done. Cause that's how it's done. Who do you think you are? I'm going to start putting the chorus into like a round, so I kind of echo. So, who do you think you are? Sort this out. What do you think you know? Who do you think you are? What do you know? Who do you think you are? What do you think you know? What do you think you know? Who do you think you are? What do you think you know? Who do you think you are? I think I can do that a bit better. Who do you think you are? What do you think you know? Who do you think you are? What do you think you know? Who do you think you are? What do you think you know? Who do you think you are? What do you think you know? What do you think you know? Who do you think you are? What do you think you are? The hardest bit is knowing when to stop the looper. Anyway, that was just really to give you an idea. As I say, there is a video showing you down there. I just couldn't do that live because for some reason at the moment I can't stream on my phone. So if you go into my playlist and you find Lisa Marie Glover, the singing and songwriting sessions, but also check out some of the other videos I mentioned last week. There are other tutors doing some really great tutorials, including keyboard, if you are interested in actually doing it in a bit more of an involved way. I've just literally been showing you basic theory. So that's that song. I'm pretty much at the end of this session. And next week, I'm going to be looking at writing blues songs. And I'll also be looking a little bit more at multi-tracking. On my other laptop, I have a little mic. I use a program called Audacity. If you have access to a computer, you might want to go and have a look at Audacity. It's a free download. Again, I'm sure there are all kinds of different pieces of software that you can record into. But I'll do a little bit of a demonstration on that. So it's a bit of a shorter session this week. But as I say, there will be a couple of backup videos as well. So I will see you all next week.